Hello, everybody. I'm Brian McSparron, mental sports performance coach and the founder of Superior Sports Psyche. And I help athletes build the mindset and those habits that they need to perform when it counts the most and under pressure and in those biggest stage. Now, today we're going to unlock one of the most powerful states in sports, and that's trying to be competing in the zone. It's that sweet spot where time just kind of slows down and your focus is sharpened and your performance just kind of flows naturally. Now, athletes, have you ever been in that state before? It's just such a great feeling. So stick around, and I'm going to give you 4 tools that you can apply today that will help trigger that zone state more often. But first, what is the zone? It's that natural flow state where you're fully immersed in your performance. It's just automatic, distractions disappear, and high performers like Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky and Michael Phelps, they describe this as you're performing effortless, but yet powerful. Now, research shows that the zone state happens when the challenge meets the skill level and when you're pushed just enough, but you're not overwhelmed. See, when the challenge is really high, but your skill is really low, okay, that's when stress begins to set in and you won't be able to perform calmly and freely. Okay, this is what happens when anxiety begins to kick in. Let's take for an example that you might be doing a triathlon, but you're really not comfortable in the swimming part of the race. And as a result, when you go into this race with fear and anxiety when you start doing the swim. Now, if the challenge is too low, but your skill level is really high, then you're just going to get bored during your event. Now, I see this all the time in teams and athletes when they compete against an opponent of lesser skill, and they just pretty much just kind of go through the motion. Okay, they're bored. That's because they know they're going to win. So if they know they're going to win, why do they need to do their best? See, being in the zone is that happy medium. Okay, it's right between the skill level and your ability of the challenge at hand. Now, being in the zone stems from your level of confidence of being able to step up in that moment. So how can you increase your chances of getting in the zone? But first, please check out the description below to download my free mental resilience ebook to assess your athlete's mental game. This is a game-changing tool for athletes so that when they know what challenges are holding them back and how to address them. Again, this is a free ebook. So the question now becomes, how can you increase your chances of getting in the zone? To rise to the occasion, let's build on that confidence. So here are my 4 steps of trying to get in the zone during your competition. Okay? Step number 1, okay? I want you to set up a pre-performance routine. The first skill and the first key that I get athletes to learn is to try to develop a consistent pre-performance routine. Okay? Why? Because developing a routine like listening to specific music or using visualization or breathing, or even the way you get dressed or the way you warm up, this routine will cue your mindset and prepare your body that, hey, it's time to go out there and perform. So for an example, a basketball player might visualize just taking visualization of taking the perfect free throws. Okay? A sprinter might be using some breathing techniques, okay, just seconds before the gun goes off. But the key to doing this is consistency. You just don't want to do it one time. You need to do it all the time. Okay? That's why it's a routine. Okay? Step number 2. I want you to focus on the process and not the outcome. Okay? Zeroing in on the process, not the result. When you are obsessed with winning or your stat line or having to try to get a hit or try to reach a certain time, your brain goes into overload, which is going to lead to distractions, and that's when anxiety is going to follow. Okay? Instead, I want you to focus in on your actions. Be really clear and be really concise. So for example, a tennis player might be focusing on hitting that deep serve really deep on the second serve. Or a track runner might be focused on exploding off the blocks when they hear that gun. Okay? For you baseball and softball players, okay, don't focus on the runner at third base, but rather I want you focusing on seeing that ball come out of that pitcher's hand. See, the process mindset grounds you in the present moment, and that's naturally going to trigger that zone state. So step number 3, I want you to try to develop micro challenges in your game. Okay? In your game, I want you to try find something that's just beyond your comfort level, but it's not overwhelming, but it's really engaging. Okay? So for example, a swimmer might begin to find their final push to the wall at 15 meters rather than their usual 10 meters. How about a golfer? Instead of laying up for a shot, they might choose a different club to try to hit the ball just a little bit further and go for that green. These little small timely challenges will help sharpen your focus and pump your body's adrenaline just enough to help you enter into the zone. Now, your goal as an athlete is to become comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And the more you can put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you achieve success, it'll help build your confidence and your mindset that you can overcome any situation. So step number 4, I want you to do a zone conditioning journaling. Okay? Getting in the zone is a skill. Okay? And skills need to be trained. Okay? If you felt you were in the zone in your performance, then you need to remember it. Write down valuable information on how you felt before your game, during your game, and after your game. When did you feel like you were in that zone, in that game? What situations popped you that you felt that you were in that zone? What was your physical and your mental state? Okay? What cues did you use to help you get in the zone? Record as much detail as you can and use it as a tool to help you identify any patterns to help you perform in that zone. Now, you cannot force yourself to compete in the zone, but you can influence on how you perform that will eventually lead you into that zone state. So here, to recap, remember the 4-step processes of trying to get into that zone. Number 1, set up that pre-performance routine. That's going to help trigger your readiness. Number 2, focus on the process to help keep you in that present moment. Number 3, set up those micro challenges to help elevate your concentration. And number 4, set up those zone journaling to help you learn and repeat what works. So try these out in your next session and see what happens. Okay? Then comment below the one cue or the challenge that you're introducing, and I'll give you feedback that you give. Okay? Now, if you found this video to be very valuable, drop a like and subscribe and hit that bell for weekly performance tips. And remember to check out my description for different resources below to help you in your game. So stay sharp, stay resilient, and I'll see you in the next video.